Somewhere in eastern China, 30,000 people live inside a single building. Not a neighborhood, not a complex. One building. They eat inside it. They work inside it. They shop inside it. They fall in love inside it. Some of them have not stepped outside in weeks. A few residents say they have not left in over a year. This building has its own supermarkets, its own restaurants, its own hair salons, its own hotels, its own swimming pools. There is even a small movie theater hidden inside. If you dropped a person into the middle of this building without warning, they could survive an entire life without ever seeing sunlight. And here is what makes it truly strange. The moment you step through the front doors for the first time, something happens that new visitors describe as impossible to prepare for. You get lost. Not for a few minutes, not for an hour. Some new residents have wandered the hallways for half a day trying to find their own room. This is the Regent International, and what happens inside it is unlike anything else on Earth. To understand why this building exists, you need to know one thing about the city around it. Hangzhou is one of the biggest technology hubs in China. Millions of young workers move here every year, chasing jobs in tech companies and startups. When they arrive, they face a problem that has broken young workers all over the world. Rent is impossible. A normal apartment in Hangzhou can cost more than an entire month's salary. Buying a home is a dream almost no one under 30 can afford. Then, in 2013, something unexpected happened. A giant, curved building on the edge of the city was originally built as a luxury hotel, but the hotel business failed. The owners had to make a decision, and the decision they made changed the lives of 30,000 people. They converted the entire building into apartments, small ones, cheap ones. And almost overnight, young workers started pouring in. Within a few years, the building was holding a population larger than most small towns. And every single one of those 30,000 people was living inside a maze. Imagine walking through the front doors for the very first time. The lobby opens up in front of you. Bright lights, shining floors, signs pointing in a dozen different directions, elevators lined up in rows. You look up, and you keep looking up, and up. Because the ceiling above the lobby is not one floor high, or two, or even three. It is 39 floors high. The Regent International rises 39 stories into the sky. Each floor stretches around the entire curved shape of the building, with hundreds of small rooms opening off long, winding hallways. If you tried to walk from one end of a single floor to the other, it would take you nearly 10 minutes. But here is where things get strange. Every hallway looks the same, every door looks the same, every corner looks the same. The building was not designed for people to easily find their way around. New residents get lost constantly during their first few weeks. Some report walking in circles for over an hour trying to find their own room. Delivery drivers refuse to bring food up to certain floors because they know they will get trapped in the maze. Some residents have started using colored ribbons tied to their door handles just to find their rooms after work. And still, 30,000 people call this place home. Walk down any hallway on any floor and you start to see the truth. This is not just where 30,000 people sleep. This is where they live their entire lives. On the lower floors, the smell of food hits you first. Dozens of restaurants line the hallways. Traditional Chinese noodles, Korean barbecue, Japanese ramen. Late-night hot pot spots that stay open until sunrise. Turn a corner and you find a supermarket. Full-sized, stocked with fresh vegetables, meat, rice, snacks, and everything a family needs. Residents shop for groceries here without ever seeing the street. Go up a few floors and the building transforms again. Karaoke rooms, internet cafes, gyms, massage parlors, a beauty salon where residents get their hair cut and their nails done, small movie theaters, coffee shops, co-working spaces filled with people typing on laptops. There is a post office inside the building. There are dental clinics inside the building. There is a pharmacy inside the building. And this is the part that surprises visitors the most. There is a hotel inside the building, so when residents have friends or family come to visit, those visitors book rooms inside the same building where the residents live. You can arrive here as a guest, stay in the hotel, eat at the restaurants, shop at the stores, get your hair cut, watch a movie, and leave 3 days later without ever having stepped outside, which is exactly what some residents have chosen to do for months at a time. But why would anyone choose to live like this? The answer becomes clear the moment you meet someone who actually lives here. Imagine you just graduated from university. You are 23 years old. You landed a job at a tech company in Hangzhou. Your monthly salary is around 8,000 yuan. That is about $1,100 US. You start looking for a place to live. A normal apartment near your office costs 5,000 yuan per month, sometimes more. After food, transportation, and basic living costs, you would have nothing left. Zero savings, no safety net. Then someone tells you about the Regent International. You visit for the first time. You walk through the doors. You take the elevator up 39 floors. You open the door to a small room that could be yours. The room is tiny, 10 square meters, roughly the size of a large parking space, a single bed pressed against one wall, a small desk, a bathroom you can barely turn around in, a window looking out at the city, or sometimes just at another wall of the same building. The rent is 1,500 yuan per month, $210. Suddenly, the math works. You can afford to live in a major Chinese city, you can save money, you can build a future. So you sign the lease. And you become one of 30,000 people living inside a single building. The people you meet in the hallways are just like you. Recent graduates, young engineers, content creators, small business owners. Some of them have lived here for 6 months, some for 2 years, some for 5. A few tell you they moved in planning to stay for 6 months, and now they cannot imagine leaving. Because something unexpected happens when thousands of young people all live in the same space. They stop being strangers. Inside the Regent International, an entire economy has grown that outsiders cannot see. Delivery drivers live inside the building. Not visit, live. They rent tiny rooms, just like everyone else, and they never need to leave because every food order comes from a restaurant on one of the lower floors. One driver reportedly went 8 months without stepping outside. Residents run businesses from their apartments. A hairdresser on the 12th floor cuts hair for other residents at half the price of a normal salon. A math tutor on the 20th floor helps kids study for exams. A young cook on the 7th floor prepares home-style meals and delivers them by hand to her neighbors. There is even an unofficial marketplace where residents buy and sell used furniture, electronics, and clothing to each other. The building has its own social media groups where residents plan movie nights, book club meetings, and dating events. And here is the twist nobody expected. Some residents who could easily afford to move out have chosen to stay. They stay because they built a life here. Their best friends live down the hall. Their favorite restaurant is on the 3rd floor. Their gym is on the 7th floor. Their dating partner lives on the 15th floor. Their entire world exists within a 5-minute walk from their front door. For a generation of young workers who watch their parents spend hours commuting every day, this feels less like a compromise and more like a solution. But not everyone sees it that way, because there is a darker side to what happens when humans live packed this close together. Not everyone thrives here. Some residents talk about a strange feeling that creeps in after a few weeks. Days blur together. It becomes hard to remember what day of the week it is. Time stops feeling normal because there is no sunlight to mark the difference between morning and afternoon. Many of the interior apartments have no windows at all. Some have windows that look out at another wall of the building itself. A resident could go a full week without seeing natural sunlight. Some report headaches. Some report sleep problems. Some report feeling like they are losing track of themselves in ways they cannot explain. The building's ventilation systems work constantly to keep the air moving, but keeping fresh air flowing through a structure holding 30,000 people is a battle that never ends. Some residents describe the air as feeling heavy, especially during the summer. Chinese authorities have inspected the building multiple times. They have required upgrades to fire safety systems. They have added emergency evacuation drills. Because in a building this dense, a single emergency could turn into something terrible very quickly. And yet, despite all of this, new residents keep moving in. Every month, more young workers arrive in Hangzhou with the same hope, a chance to build a future in a big city without going broke. The Regent International offers them exactly that, at a price that some residents pay in ways they did not fully expect. But this building is not a mistake. It is not an accident. And it is not the last of its kind. Because what happens here is quietly becoming a preview of what cities everywhere will start to look like. Look around your own city for a moment. Rent is climbing. Homes are getting further out of reach. Young workers everywhere are being pushed into smaller and smaller spaces, farther and farther from where they work. China is not the only country facing this problem. It is happening in London, in New York, in Tokyo, in Sydney, in every major city on Earth where too many people want to live in the same place. Which is why architects and city planners around the world have started studying the Regent International. Not to copy it exactly, but to answer a question that most governments have been avoiding. What happens when we start building cities that hold themselves up vertically instead of spreading out flat? A dozen more projects like the Regent International are already being planned in different Chinese cities. Some are designed to hold 50,000 people. A few of the most ambitious ones aim for 100,000. Entire cities compressed into single towers, with every service humans need built inside. The Regent International was not designed to be a model. It became one by accident. 30,000 people moved in looking for cheap rent. What they created without meaning to was one of the first working examples of how densely humans can actually live together when the price of a normal life becomes impossible. Some experts call it the future. Others call it a warning. Both might be right. Think back to how we started. 30,000 people, one building, some residents who have not stepped outside in months. When you first heard those words, they probably sounded impossible. Now you know they are not just possible. They are already happening. A quiet experiment is running inside the Regent International that will shape how the next generation of humans lives, works, and connects with each other. And most of the world has no idea it is happening. Tell us in the comments below. Could you live in a place like this, where everything you need is inside one building, but you rarely see the sky? Or would that feel like a beautiful trap no matter how convenient it was? We read every single comment. Your answers help us decide which impossible places we cover next. If this video was worth your time, share it with someone who needs to see this place. Subscribe if you are not already here. And tap the notification bell, because the next impossible place is already waiting for us. We will see you there.